Hi everybody, this is going to be the first video in the Mastering Git series, and today we're going to learn why do we even use Git, right? And before we learn anything in life, we should ask ourselves why. What issue is this tool addressing that it's so important for us? Why do all job posting say that you require some knowledge of Git, right? What is this thing doing, right? So the best way to picture Git is by imagining a time machine, right? So you and your friends, you guys are, it's the 1990s, the internet isn't as big and as developed, and you guys are like, okay, we want to make a new website, right? But we want to make this website together. So the most reasonable idea would be, hey, we should go to, someone's house or to some place, and then we should all collaborate right there, right? So we can all work on one piece of code, right? Because we can't share the code. But let's say one of your team members needs to go on a vacation, or changes their university, they go somewhere else, and you guys still want to collaborate, right? And so now the only idea you could possibly have to collaborate is via emails, right? You guys would be sending emails where you would have maybe your project name, you would have a name for your current release, like version 1.8, the person who has edited the changes, and the changes that you want to note, right? And you can understand how messy this can get, right? Because let's say someone wants to do a revert, right? So they would have to append a revert over here, and then it would be such a long and sophisticated name. And furthermore, let's say as your code base scales, right, you guys have a massive code base, and it's not efficient to download this code base every time from your email, so you have to also zip this code, which is insanely time consuming. You have to zip this, upload this, and then unzip it, download it, right? And this is so chaotic. This is a mess, and this is what Git resolves. Git is a tool that 99% of all professional developers use, and it pretty much allows you to collaborate with stepping on each other's toes. Just basically a time machine. And this is a good example of this, right? So you guys have a project, and then you have a project final, and you have a project really final, and you have a don't open, right? So it's so sophisticated. I don't know which one of these to use. What Git does over here, we can think of this part being Git entirely. Git basically is a time machine, so it appends these as different changes in a history, and you can pretty much jump back to these anytime you want, right? So each change is associated with a node in history, and we can go back to that node, or we can add to those nodes, right? So that's what all the fuss about Git is. In this course, we're basically going to try and master this toolchain, right? We're gonna be sharpening our axe, and we're gonna learn how to be 10 times more productive with all the different stuff Git allows us to use. Now, just so you guys know about how crazy Git is, the same person that made a Linux, which is Linus Torvalds, also made Git, right? So you might think Git. You probably don't, though. It has so many cool different features, and we're gonna be going every single one of those in the following up videos. Now, another thing I want to just briefly introduce to you guys, that we're going to be talking in a few videos later down, is branches, right? And I just want to emphasize how organized Git allows us to be. So imagine we have these different nodes, right? We can branch these nodes. We can branch, and we can have different names for our branches, right? We can have a features branch. We can have a bug branch. We can, the bug fixes, of course. We can have a docs branch, and this is basically subnodes. It allows us to have our codes into these other different nodes, and we can bring those nodes back into history. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is everything Git is doing is for organization, and what we should be doing when using Git is utilizing it for organization and simplicity, right? So over the following videos, you're going to learn more and more about why I said what I said and how to better utilize it.